Head back to Layton Beard now from the AA. Layton, hello, good to have you back with us again. Sorry about that, lost your audio for a moment. We were talking about 2008 and this demerit system. Many people saying it was always going to fail, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think when the AA raised a couple of issues way back in 2008 and even before then, Gareth, we raised the issue of constitutionality. We were very concerned about some of the provisions that were contained in the Act. So I think even from an early stage, red flags were there, and they were red flags that were raised by many civil society organizations, amongst other the AA. I think what has happened yesterday actually vindicates the position of all of those people and organizations who raised their concerns early on. But it's been almost a quarter century of failure. And our view now is that the government must admit defeat and move on. This Act and Aarto is not going to be implemented. It's the end of the road. We need to now look for alternatives. And
alternatives always need to be in the framework, I'm sure you'll agree, Layton, of saving lives. That's the point of any act on our roads in South Africa. The criticism, and I'm sure you'll agree, is this has been nothing other than a profit-making scheme and has done actually very little, the criticism is, to save lives in the country.
Yeah, absolutely correct. I mean, I think the AA has been on record many times saying that Aarto in this form is geared towards revenue collection and not towards promoting road safety. And that is essentially what the Act was intended to do. It was intended to put in a points demerit system that would then, basically take unsafe drivers and give them discredits for bad driving, and at some point then also make them lose their licenses or take them off the road. So that for us is the basis of a points demerit system. That's obviously not what's contained in the Act at the moment, and that was concerning to us. So you're absolutely correct. Currently, the Aarto Act that was yesterday found to be unconstitutional was geared towards revenue collection, not towards promoting road safety, and therein lies the problem. When you've got an agency such as the Road Traffic Management Corporation, which has a surplus of 260 million rand in their 2020 budget, you have to ask, where is that money going in terms of promoting road safety? And why is it not being used to promote road safety? Yet, we've got an act from government that's now basically been declared invalid, and it didn't promote road safety in any way. So there's a huge disconnect, and it's a big problem for the AA.
One could almost think that if there's so much surplus from 2020, they're going to try and find a bigger drawing board to go back to. But I imagine it's maybe not about going back to the drawing board, scrap the idea completely. But having said that, Layton, last question to you. We can't leave this here. We're still trying to make our roads safer. Was this a case of good idea, bad execution? Is there a different way of doing this in the world of the AA and Layton Beard?
Yeah, great question. Look, I think that in terms of, the way forward, the AA has since 1963 been saying, let's implement a points demerit system. It's something we support. It's something that's been implemented in other parts of the world very successfully. But it should run in conjunction with the current Criminal Procedure Act and fining infrastructure. So it can work and it should work. It's just a question of implementation. Yes, it was a good idea to an extent, but certainly very bad implementation. This should not be the end of the road in terms of trying to promote road safety in South Africa. A lot still needs to be done. This certainly wasn't the way to go about it.
It certainly doesn't seem like that, and the courts certainly agree with all of those who were opposed to it. Layton Beard, always a pleasure for joining us this morning. AA spokesperson giving us their thoughts on what has happened now with Aarto and this demerit system being scrapped.